Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 5 Minutes for Fighting. I'm your host, Jesse Rowe. We have an incredible guest this week. We have PFL's Shane Burgos. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how does that feel when people introduce you as PFL Shane Burgos? I mean, it's you've had a long, successful career. It's got to be a little strange to start
Yeah,
off.
it's a little bit different, but it's been a couple months now, so I'm
Yeah,
easing into it.
right. Well, you haven't stepped in your first fight. I just saw a few weeks ago it got announced. So you are you're going to be stepping into the cage for the first time. How are you feeling? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I'm pumped, and it's a main event. I'm fighting the guy that won the whole tournament last year, so I'm looking at it like this is my title fight, and that's what I'm treating it as.
Yeah. So Olivier Aubin-Mercier, what do you make of the matchup? Like, what do you make of him as an opponent?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He came from the UFC like me. A little bit different circumstances, but he's on a 6-fight win streak. He looked good in his last fight. I was at his last fight, actually, the finale. He's a good opponent, solid opponent, and I'm excited to take him out.
Just in terms of how are you feeling about moving up to lightweight, by the way?
Fucking excited.
Yeah.
That it's like a weight off my shoulders because everybody knows me as the big featherweight, and it comes with its advantages, obviously, but man, it's just a brutal cut, and that's why I got hurt in going into my last fight. I was like, you know what, I can't do this shit anymore. And then especially the fact that I would have to do it again 6 weeks after because I'm fighting in April, but then I'm fighting again in June. So
Right.
like to do that back at 145, I was just like, oh man, this is just gonna be brutal, not only on me and my body, but also on my family. So I was like, let me make the decision to go up. I put some size on, so I don't even think it's not even gonna be an easy cut for 55, honestly.
Those weight cuts, they just get, from everything that I've heard from fighters, they just get more and more brutal the longer your career goes. And it's like just moving up weight is just a natural thing to do, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's just becomes real monotonous and takes the fun out of training. It really does. Like I've been actually enjoying training and having fun in training lately because I don't have
Yeah.
to just stress scale. Like I've been checking my weight after training instead of before. I would check my weight every single morning before training and then again after training. It was just like a constant obsession on my mind with the weight. Now I can just relax a lot more.
So to move on here, the newly signed member of the PFL, Jake Paul, he just fought over the weekend. What did you make? I know he's like a big investor in the company now. What did you make of that fight?
It was a fun fight. I watched the entire thing and it was a good time. I thought it was a very interesting fight. It wasn't watching Canelo or anything like that, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
was a very fight, and I thought the judges got it right. I thought Fury won. I thought he was the busier fighter, but Jake is tough, and he got the only knockdown in the fight. I mean, I don't think Fury was hurt or anything like that, but it was 100%. It was a flash knockdown.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Jake earning the respect of like the fight game. Do you feel like he earned some respect by being able, because obviously Fury, it's there's people who on two different sides of whether he's like a legitimate boxer or not. Did
Yeah,
Jake earn some points, you think?
think he earned some points, but not too many because, like you said, I don't think a lot of people gave Fury the respect that he deserved. I mean, he's undefeated 9-0 pro boxer, and
Yeah.
Jake lost to an undefeated guy. It wasn't like he lost to a bum.
Right.
So I
So
guess, I guess it matters on who you ask, whether he earned the respect. I would say everyone's different with that.
yeah. So you've also Jake's obviously he signed an MMA deal with the PFL. You haven't fought yet, but is that something you'd be interested in down the line?
100%. Like
Yeah.
no, just that. Like, I got a lot of respect for the kid. He's done a lot of things. 26 years old, multimillionaire. I gotta respect it. I can't knock the hustle. But I would love to get in there with him to make some freaking money. That'd be awesome. He's obviously they just fought his last fight. I think it's at 185. I'm fighting my next fight at 155. But
Right.
I'd happily put on some size for that one to break the bank with it.
Meet him somewhere in the middle, like a welterweight or something like that, right? Something like that. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. That cut no weight. Sign me up.
Do you think he's going to fare well in the MMA aspect of things? Because he was a wrestler in high school, and obviously he knows how to box. Do you,
Yeah,
do you think he'll fare well those skill
I
set?
I, I do think he'll fare well because I don't think he's a stupid kid. He's not going to go in there and fight the best guys at 185. He's not going to be entered into the PFL season. I don't think right off the bat at least. But he's only 26 years old. He's still got a lot of room for growth. So I think he'll be smart about picking his opponents. He's not going to go in there with a guy that's 5-0, 6-0. He's going to go in there with another guy that's making his debut. He's not going to be an idiot about it. The kid's he's a smart kid. Say what you want about him, but he knows what he's doing with his career. And another thing is he he invested 100% in himself. Like the kid just eats, sleeps, and breathes training.
Yeah.
You have to respect, no matter what you think about him on the mic or that, or talking shit to this guy or that guy. That doesn't really matter, because what matters is the work he's put in, and it's apparent he's been putting in work.
Yeah, fair enough. So, really quick before we move on, I just wanted to ask you about. I understand that you're doing a charity event called Swing for the Stars. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that and sort of explain what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, it's an awesome event. It's one of those things where these kids they look up to us in like being in the limelight and stuff like that, and most of them are special needs kids, and they they're basically their chance to swing for the stars, and that's why it's called that, because they're gonna fight all the UFC, PFL, Bellator, all the pro fighters that we have on our team are gonna be going into the ring and giving them a chance to swing for the stars. So it's a real cool event. It's gonna be an awesome time. Great cause.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. What are you raising money? What's how does it work?
Yeah, raising money for I guess all different kinds of special needs, but
Right.
like I said, it's an awesome event, and I'm excited for it. It's gonna be fun.
What other fighters have you got locked in?
We got all the guys on our team. So we have Lyman Good, Julio. Actually, I don't think Julio's on anymore because he actually got injured. Mike Trizano, Jimmy Rivera, Luis Gagno, Nick Pace, Brancatino, Rob Riccio, Giuliano Vertrio, Ricardo Fuentes. We got all the pros on our team basically are doing this.
That's awesome, man. Well, I wish you nothing but the best of luck with that. That's great. It's a great cause, and anybody who is interested, I will make sure to put a link to
Yeah,
Swing for the Stars in the description of this video. Yeah, right down there. Yeah,
there we go.
exactly. Obviously, after you get through this fight, what do you think the biggest fight in the PFL is right now for you? Like, obviously, you don't want to look past your opponent, but what do you think is the biggest fight for you? And like, who would you say is like the biggest challenge standing in your way for that like $1 million payday in the smart cage?
I can give you two different answers. Who's the biggest fight for me? The biggest fight for me is Jake Paul. It's not even
Yeah,
close.
right.
That's the biggest money fight right there. But challenge wise, the lightweight division is stacked. But this is the guy that just won the division. He just won the tournament. Won the season last year.
Yeah,
So for me to overlook him would be crazy. So I'm thinking it's him. He's the guy that he beat everybody. He won. He went undefeated. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He won his last fight by knockout. He's a tough guy. I'm thinking that it's this guy, and that's why I like to have him right off the bat while I'm fresh.
awesome. Well, the last thing I want to hit you with here is I'm sure you saw the comments about when your contract ended with the UFC. It was Dana White said that he regretted that he was upset with his team for not being able to re-sign you. What were your thoughts about that when you heard that?
Yeah.
You know what? Just in terms of that, like, where does that land for you when you hear that?
Flattering. I don't think I'm a huge fan of the sports, and I hear all the news. I watch all the interviews and stuff like that. I'm a massive fan of the sport. Eat, sleep, breathe the shit. So to hear him say that, I mean, not to my knowledge, I've never heard him say that about another fighter leaving the UFC. Usually, when guys leave the UFC, it's usually on a bad note, or Dana just doesn't have anything to say. So the fact that he went out of his way to say those things about me was flattering. And then he went out of his way he called me, and Hunter Campbell. He texted me. They didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Just to show their appreciation for the blood, sweat, and tears that I put in their organization for the last couple of years. That meant a lot to me.
Yeah. And is that something that like, obviously, you know, I know you're under contract with PFL. Is that something that's on your mind? Like, would you ever consider going back to the UFC if they offered it?
I'm happy in the PFL right now. I have a two season deal right now, so my
Yeah.
focus is so PFL. They got my back right now, so I'm riding with the PFL right now.
What would you say to like UFC fighters that are leaving, like, or other MMA fighters from other promotions about coming to the PFL? What would be your message to them?
Make some money, change your life. That's what I would say. But don't just put your eggs all in one basket. That's a huge thing. This is my second time. I fought out my contract twice. The first time I fought it out, the PFL showed interest in me, and I turned a good deal down from them to stay in the UFC because I identified myself as a UFC fighter back then. But my manager put into my head, are you a UFC fighter or are you a prize fighter? When you're all said and done in the sport, you got to look back and say it was worth it. And the money that I'm making now in the PFL I'm gonna be able to say it is worth it. Not to say that I didn't make good money in the UFC, because I did make good money in the UFC, but now I'm making great money.
Yeah. This is just a curiosity question because Nate Diaz is he's a free agent. Would you
Yeah.
what would be your pitch to him about coming to the He's looking for Jake
Yeah.
Paul offered him a 2-fight deal for boxing and MMA. You know, there's talk that Nate wants to fight like Canelo Alvarez. Like, what would be your pitch to Nate Diaz to coming to the PFL?
Dude, he'd fucking run shit. Like he'd be like the dude's fuck. I'm a huge Nate Diaz fan. He's one of my favorite fighters. Ultimate Fighter 5. Remember when that came out? I was like in 12th grade or something like that. Yeah, I've been a huge fan of that dude for a long, long time. So to have him in the organization, that would be fucking awesome. I pitched him to be like, he would make stupid money on top of the $1 million season. Like even if he just opted out and he did the super fight season, I think he'd make crazy money just based on pay-per-view points that they could sell off of him.
Yeah, you said he would run things. So would he come in maybe just like be the boss? He would take over. That's because he's huge.
That's kind of his attitude. That's the way his attitude was in the UFC. So I can only imagine if it was in the NFL. But like I said, I'm a huge fan of the guy. So I'd love to see.
Absolutely. Well, hey, best of luck, man. I'm gonna be rooting for you. And yeah, just like last thing, where do you want like when are we gonna see you fighting for a title next? Like, what's up? What are we gonna see?
Yeah. April 14th, I'm fighting the guy that won the title. So I'm telling him to bring the belt. Technically, it's not for the belt,
right?
But I'm telling him taking it home. After that, I'm fighting again 6 weeks later. After that, I'm fighting again 8 weeks later. And then after that, I'm fighting again in the finale for the $1 million. So yeah, by the end of this, by November 2023, you guys will see me fighting for the belt. That's my plan.
Let's go. Love it. Shane, best of luck with Swing for the Stars. I will make sure that everybody check it out. Swing for the Stars. Last thing you want to say about it?
Yeah, Swing for the Stars. Please, guys, check it out. Donate if you can. Buy tickets if you can. Come out, support. Show it's a great cause.
All right, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for joining me on 5 Minutes for Fighting, and I'll see you later. All right.
Thank you.
Peace.